much for your presentation. At this point, I think we wanted to entertain an opportunity for questions. And I know Joel has been collecting them. We had some great comments. I hope you have a chance to look at the chat.
Well, I answered a couple of them. I didn't get a chance to get to all of them, but I did answer a couple of them.
Well, we want to share those answers with everybody, but I also want to give an opportunity for questions. And then after that, I want to do a special presentation for you. So Joel?
Thank you, Governor Hayden. I've been looking at the chat, and quite a few questions and comments have come in the last few minutes. And so just to be fair, I'm going to take them first come, first serve. So we're going to start with the first question that came in, and we'll try to make our way down. And I just ask that Dr. Mark, you'll let me know when it's time to stop. The first comes from Gerda Martin, and she makes a comment and question, two questions. Her comment is, the racial stereotypes of early American history had a significant role in shaping attitudes towards African Americans until today. Yes, although much has changed since the days of Jim Crow, the last 4 years displayed that there still persists a hardcore white supremacy racist ideology. Her questions are: one, how can the country move forward in overcoming this racial divide? And second, there have been other cases of police brutality in the past, but why do you think the killing of George Floyd has led to this wave of protest even beyond the United States? So we'll start with that one from Gerda Martin.
All right, the first question she talks about is how can we change the climate? You know, the thing that's missing is the people who are doing the hate. Let's take one group. So many of them. Let's take the Proud Boys, because that's just one of those names that I just learned about. Just learned who these people were. If those people would have the courtesy or the courage, let me say that, to come together with a urban league or NAACP, because people are usually intimidated by NAACP, and they're not like that at all, or any diversity group, and have an interaction conversation so that they would get to understand that people that they hate are not a threat to them. They need to understand that all ethnic groups, all groups of people, and white people descended just like we descended. So if they could get to understand, I would love for Skip Gates to do some of these people's history, you know, ancestry, because they may find out that their DNA has some of my blood in them. So I think that's one of the things, is that the only way that this country can come together and heal is that those folk who are doing the hate will meet with folk that have these organizations such as yours and have this conversation and explain what their fear is, because that's predominantly what it is. It's fear and insecurities. That's what drives them to hate. The second part about the George Floyd question is, why was it so impactful? Why people reacted the way they reacted? Because, you know, at some point, somebody's got you up on the wall. You say, okay, you know, I give. They won't let you off the wall. And they keep pushing you up on the wall. You have no escape. I think the reason that they reacted to George Floyd was the moment he called for his mother. And this cop had his knee firmly implanted on his neck. And only George knew that he was at the end of his life. And the cop knew it because he had contact with his neck and was squeezing the life out of him, which he knew was happening. That's why, because it was filmed and people around him saw that happening. That's why the protest was, because people were there with him on that ground.
Thank you, Mrs. Clemons. Thank you so much for those responses. Been scrolling down, seeing some comments, a lot of comments. So just for the interest of time, I want to go down to another question. I know Gerda had another question, but I want to make sure we have some variety. So I'm going to go down to Mark Hackett. Mark Hackett, his question is, what's your opinion of the current state of American history in our education system? Do you think the teaching of all American history in our school system could begin to change hearts and attitudes? Maybe we could then change Black History Month to Black Emphasis Month.
I think that the schools need to change probably their format of teaching. I think the curriculum does not provide for an opportunity to study the true history, not just all of the things that I talked about earlier, how that happens and why it happened. I mean, the fact is a fact. It happened. Those things happened. And then this stuff wasn't made. This stuff happened. And I think that the educational system does not want the cold-blooded truth told. And just as in civic classes, they don't even teach civics, I don't think, anymore. That's why this guy that's sitting in the chair up there in DC doesn't understand government and democracy, because he never studied it. And I think that, you know, the classroom is a great avenue for having an interaction. I think we misunderstand our young people, the caliber of their thinking. There was a young man, he was 7 years old. They showed him on Good Morning America the other day, not Good Morning, the other one, CBS Morning Show. 7 years old. He's going around helping people through COVID, gets groceries for them, brings them to them. He's got a movement, 7. So the caliber of our young people now are much more mature than we give them credit for. They want understanding. They want to know why my little friend, my little white friend, and or my little black friend, why y'all don't want me to play with him? I don't understand. What's the problem? There's only 2 little girls. One was black and one was white, and they were good friends, best friends. And the white girl said to her classmates, "Yeah, she's my sister. She's my twin." And the kids picked at her and said, "No, that's impossible. Y'all don't look alike." And she said, the little white girl said "We have the same soul." Well, she didn't even know, they didn't even know anything about color. So it's what we put inside our young people from an early age, either at home or in the classroom.
Thank you, Mrs. Clemons. Thank you so much for your presentation, for answering these questions. For the sake of time, we're going to have to conclude our Q&A now. And I would like to turn it over to Dr. Mark and Governor Hayden. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Joel. And there were a lot of questions, everybody, and there's so many more comments and questions, really, really good points made.